In this video, I will teach you how to create a sample template for your CAD drawings. So this will be our model for this video, and we will be using AutoCAD to create this one. So just delete this. So right before we start, let us set up our units. So for this one, I want my units to be in millimeters. The precision would be 4 decimal places would do. For the angle, we can have it at 3 decimal places. Alright, millimeters, and we're good. Okay, so the first one, if you will see if you will take a look at our basis, this paper size is a long bond paper, which means that's an 8.5 inch by 13 inch, and since our paper size or our model units is in millimeters, we'll convert that into millimeters. So 8.5 inch is to 215.9 millimeter, and 13 inches is 330.2. So for this one, I'll create a rectangle, specify a random point here, but for this one, instead of selecting the second point, I will just specify the length and the width of my paper. So this would be 330.2. Click on tab to select for the length. So if you will see the width rather, if you will see, the length is locked at 330.2 or 13 inches, and the width would be 215.9. So I'll press enter. So we have our long bond paper outline. And if you will look at here, this is about half an inch. So what I will do is I will use the command offset. So I'll select the rectangle, type offset, press enter, and I can now offset. I'll need to specify the distance. I'll have it at half an inch is 12.7. Of course, that should be inside because that's the border of our paper. What I'll do here is I'll change this layer into a broken line layer. So that would be a new layer. I'll call this ISO dash, and that would be having 0.05 millimeters. Enter. So I'll change the color, would be good. Line type. So for the line type, I want it to be the ISO dash. So I load this one and select it and click OK. And what else? I'll have the line weight. I want it to be 0.05. Alright. So this would be ISO dash 0.05. To designate that is the limit of the paper or the extent of the paper size or the long bond paper. So I have the border now, and what I will need to do is explode the border. I'll explode this so I can separate it into 4 lines. So there you have it. The rectangle now was exploded to 4 lines. Right, and I'll offset this one again. If I will check here, this would be having a height of, let me check, is 1 millimeter. So I think this would be 1.5. I'll zoom it in. I think this is 1.5, and then that's 5, 5, 4, 5, 4, another 1.5. Or okay, let's try that one. 1.5 plus 4 plus 5 plus 4 plus 5 plus another 1.5, that would be equal to 21. So let's try to do that. We'll offset this one. If you will notice, there's a value there already, default, which is the previous offset distance that we have used. But now I'll use 21. So yeah. So the distance from this portion up to this line is 30 millimeters. So I'll try to offset this one. You can use O for offset also. This is 30. And if I'll offset this one, I'll just click on it and then I'll check the distance at 75. So I'll write 75. So I have these two lines, but I want this to be trimmed right away, so I will not have a hard time editing it later on. So that would be we need to have a line with a line weight that is at least thicker than the default. So I want to have I'll have a new one, continuous. If it's continuous, what I do is I do not write the line type anymore. I understood that it's already continuous. I just write it as 0. I think I want to have 0.8 millimeter. Okay, so this would be 0.8. Okay, so let's check if we can see the line weight here. Right. So I'll now write or place the rectangle. So that is another rectangle that will start from here, this point, up to this portion. Okay, so those are the two for the rectangle. So if you will see here, the distance between these two bold rectangles are 1. So I'll move this one by 1 millimeter. I'll turn on the ortho mode. I want it to be moved by 1 millimeter. So there you have it. Okay, and I'll create another line. Oops, I was not able to change this line type. I want it to be 0.8 millimeters. I selected the wrong one. I think I wasn't able to change the, yeah. This would be continuous. Right, and I'll set the current to that line type or line weight. Another rectangle. Start from here the intersection up to the corner in this point. So we have your point. So that is 75. By the way, let's first offset this one by 2.5. So for this rectangle, I want it to be the default. Okay, I'll offset this one again by 75. Those are two 75s, and then this is whatever is left. So what I'll do is another 30 on the other side. So I'll offset this one by I'll need to move this one first. I'll move it by 50 up. I'll delete this, and before I'll offset this one, I'll offset it by 30 and trim. Then delete this portion. I will now be offsetting this one again by 30. And we have your okay. Now that we are done with the divisions, I'll move this back. Since we move it up by 50, I'll move it down by 50 also. Alright, so there we have our paper. So what I'll do here, I will create another rectangle, but this time I'll be using the smaller or the default layer. This would be a rectangle. It should terminate at this corner, and then what I'll do with the small rectangle is I'll offset it by 1.5. Okay, and then I'll delete this original rectangle. So if you will notice here, 1.5 is the distance top and bottom, but for this one, it has a different distance here on this portion, that is 0.75. So what I will do is I'll just move this one. I'll stretch it by about 0.75. So we have it there, and then I will note I can use mirror for this one. MI, enter. This would be the mirror line. I don't want to erase the source objects, so I'll leave it as is. And then what I'll do now is I'll move this one again, because this is 75. Alright, and then what else? We have another I'll do another rectangle on these portions and offset it again by 1.5. Oops, I pressed escape accidentally. So I'll offset this one 1.5. Alright. Again, I'll be moving this by 0.75, and the other part also. another rectangle for this portion. Then, did I delete this original? I want to delete this, so it will not be overlapping. Okay, I'll offset this one again by 1.5 inside, of course, and then I'll mirror it. I'll mirror it before I change the borders. Oops, 0.75 rather. For the other part also, this would be 0.75. This would be 0.75. Okay, I don't want to change this one because that is the end border on that portion. What I'll do now is I will delete these guidelines, because that is just the midpoint of those lines that just serve as our guide in creating these boxes. Alright, what I will do now is I will offset this. That distance will be 5 millimeters from this line. So what I will do, since this is 1.5 millimeters, I'll just add 1.5 to 5, so that would be 6.5. So if I offset this, it will be in the right position on these smaller boxes. So I'll offset it by 6.5, 1.5 plus 5. So you have it there. And what I will do is I'll select all of this so I'll be able to trim properly. I'll trim right away because if I will trim later on, I'll have a hard time trimming every portion of this drawing. So that's one technique also. You should plan on how you are going to draw your template. So there you have it. And what I will do is I will just select all of these lines and I'll offset it right away. Offset by 4. Oops. Why did it not work? Try it again. Five. Alright. To check this one, we need to have the distance from this portion up to this line equal to 4 millimeters. So to do that, what I'll do is I'll use measure. So if you measure from this line up to this portion, that is equal to or I'll use dimension. That is 4 centimeters. That's really millimeter. It's centimeter there because of my designation here. So I'll fix that because my dimension style is centimeter in there. So what I'll do is I'll create a new, start with this one. So this would be millimeters. I want to have the text style equal to 3. Yeah, siguro 3 millimeters. continue. So here, I can change this text style, 0.3 millimeters. I'll create another one. I want to have a new text 3.00 millimeter. Okay, and then this height should be 3.00. Apply, close. So this now would become your text style. And to change the suffix, you go to primary units. I actually made this centimeter, but now I'll change it to millimeter because we are now in units. Decimal, I have it to 10. Okay, you can now work with this one. So what I'll do is I'll change the dimension style of this to the one that we did, and that is 3 millimeters. So yan. Okay, that is 4 millimeters. I'll delete this. It was just done for purposes of showing you. So let's start now that we have your template. We can start with the text. So checking it, this should be not included. For this portion, there is no lines. Okay. So, yan. Okay. So let's start with this one. That's a 4 millimeter text. So I will have a text here. Logo. You will place your logo here for every plate that you will do. Click outside. Alright. So let me check that is 3 millimeters. We need it to be 4 millimeters. So let's create another one, 4.00 millimeter. This will be 4. So I'll change this into 4. Right, I'll move this. Remove the orthographic restriction so you can move it freely. There, you have your logo. Next, another line or another text that we need to write here is, what was that again? School. So there, since that is 4 millimeters, it will exceed our borders. Let's try it to be 3 millimeters. Would that be okay? I think it would be best if this is 2.5 millimeters. Let's try to manage this. I'll create another 2.5 millimeter, but this time it will be bold. Okay, so that would be 2.5 millimeter. This should be bold. Apply, and then I'll create another one. Since the other text that is 2.5 millimeters are not bold, this would be the regular. So for this one, I want this to be the 2.5 millimeter bold. Okay, so yan. We had it perfectly done. Let's move this. Alright, so what I will do here, for us to have a constant distance from this port, or from this edge of the rectangle up to the text, I will just copy it. This is the reference point, and then I'll have this part there and here. So since that is 5 millimeters, this should be moved. So I think this is 3 millimeters. Let's just change it to 3 millimeters regular. So what is the textile that they used for this one? I think we can create a new here. This would be 3.00 millimeter times New Roman. Do we have a times New Roman here? Yeah, times New Roman. Regular 3 millimeter apply. Okay, close this. So I'll make this one times New Roman. And to edit, you double click on it. This would be so let's just edit the limits of this one. Oh, it exceeded that one. I think we need to further edit this into a 2.5 millimeter. So if that is 2.5 millimeter, it will change. It changed, but then it's not enough. Still not enough. What do we do here? This is 2.5. Yeah. Right. So we have it. And for the department, we are in the College of Engineering and Architecture. I'll copy this one again with the reference point, that part, so it will have the same spacing. This would be alright. Next we have your plate title. I'll copy this. This would be the plate title. Next we'll have your template dimensions. I'll copy this too. I'll move this one. here. So we have this as template dimensions. But you can change this one. You should change this one always, depending on the title of your plate. I want to change this into 3mm because that is what it is instructed. So this is your template dimension, the title of your plate title. Another one will have your some parts here. We're about to finish. We'll just have this other parts. So what I'll do is I'll just copy this text because we have already uh, placed the correct spacing and text styles. I'll just copy this, specify the correct uh, reference point. Right. Okay, that would be drafted by for this portion. The name format should be last name, first name, and middle initial. Okay. This one would be subject. This would be CAD, computer aided drafting. Alright, it cannot fit, so I'll remove that. This would be schedule. Or I'll change this into section. For example, if your section is CE2 dash 3A dash F, so that would be your section. For this portion, let's change this into room number. Let's change this into ODL, online distance learning. Alright, so for this part, I don't want to copy this. I just want it to have a different format for that portion. That would simply be equal to the plate number P00, or since this is just a template, I named it P00, but if it is your plate number 1, this would be P01. If that is plate number 2, that should be P02. So I'll change this into another layer. I think I can use a 6mm text height here. This would be 6mm, and I want it to be bold. Arial. Use Arial Let's select a good design. What if it's Corbel? It's not good. Sego. Okay, let's just use Arial. Alright, and it should be bold. Okay, let's now change this into it's the layer that we just did, 6 millimeters. Alright, make sure that that is at the middle. Alright, we have your plate dimension. I'll save this as a drawing file. I'll name this CAD plate template. Of course, select the folder on which you want to save this file. Alright, now we are going to learn how to plot it properly. So now that we have done our drawings, kunwari I'll create a sample logo. I'll just make use of circles. So if for example this would be my logo, now let's try to plot this. Right click on the layout here and click on the page setup manager. What we'll do is we will create a new layout. I'll call this the CAD long band paper. Okay, you'll have here your click on dwf6eplot.pc3 and then your paper size would be here, long band paper landscape, because I pre-created this before. But if you want to know how to create paper sizes, you can click on properties and then you can custom a paper size. So if for this one you can add or you can edit, but basically a similar interface. Let's try to edit this for just for showing you. So this would be in inches, 813.00 times 18.5. Next, printable area is those areas here. Next, the name of the file, and finish. Okay, so that is your paper. Click on OK, so it will be shown here. So I want to use that layer that I did Now we'll have here we have your units in millimeter, scale line weights, yes. What else? Plot transparency, plot object line weights, height per piece space object, landscape. Okay, we're good. Click on set current. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll delete this, and now what I'll have to do is create a rectangle that will coincide or be collinear with the edges of our paper. Alright. So what I'll do here is I'll offset this into 12.7 because that is half the inch. We are basically copying the template. And next, what I'll delete the outer, or you can just leave it there. But I'll introduce you now to what we call the multi-view. MV is multi-view. Enter. Specify the corner of the viewpoint, which is this smaller rectangle. Now we are going to make this one. I'll remove the grid as our so for the scale, alright, I'll edit the zoom factor. I'll change it to 1 or 3 so I can zoom at smaller increments. So we have your logo now. I can pan this. Okay, that is one way to do it, but you will have a hard time on estimating the borders. So what I do here is I try to copy this one. I'll copy layout 1. So here. For this one, what I do is I will copy this portion. I'll copy it. I will specify the base point as the corner here, and then I'll go to plot, or I can just use Control C for a while. Right, and I'll go here. I'll remove this portion, the multi-view now, and I'll Control V at the corner there, and I'll delete all of these borders. So I have it here. It's easier this way because you will only use your multi-view on the border of the drawing here and on this portion in the logo. So you will not have a hard time estimating that portion. So I'll delete the logo label and I will use multi-view here for us to be able to view my logo. There, you have your logo. you can remove the grid lines. Of course, you'll have that. For you to be able to move out from the multi-view, you need to press or double click somewhere outside of that area. If you zoom in and then you are only on the multi-view, you will not be able to go back easily. What I do here is, if I do multi-view here, I can zoom in and zoom out, right? But I cannot escape from this one, or I cannot move out from the multi-view. What I'll do is I'll escape. I undo those things, and I make sure that there is a small amount of area wherein I can double click later when I want to escape from the multi-view. So I have my logo in there. You can now create your logos as well as your practice. And let's check why is our line weight not seen. Line weight. Okay, you click on display line weight. Default would be 0.05. Okay, it should show your line weight. Let's check our line weight again. I think I can further decrease the display scale. There, alright. We now have your template. Okay, so if you are going to create, or here, let's try to copy this. I'll copy it and I'll put dimensions. I'll do here as I'll use multi-view again, MV, for a while. Enter, and then the extent would be only this smaller box on the drawing area, right? Double click on multi-view and then you show this portion. You can use a scale here. We'll go over that in the next meetings. So now that I have here your layers, what I'll do is I will place dimensions on this drawing. Okay, for my dimensions I use this layer. It's a blue continuous line. So to put dimensions, you just place, write your endpoints. Okay, it should be continuous. I go to annotate, continue. Another linear dimension, this would be continue. You will have it here and another one. I'll place dimensions here. I remember I erased our guidelines here. So what I'll do is I'll offset this one by 30, offset this by 75, and another one by 75. I'll now offset this one by 30, and then by another 30, just for our guidelines when we are going to place our dimensions. So for the dimensions, what I'll do is I'll continue this. That's 75. So you have your dimensions. You can even place some more dimensions, but I want it to be this way only. If you'll notice, whatever you do in the model workspace will be reflected to your plot. Okay, so that is how you create your template. So what we will do now is we will save this drawing into a PDF file. To do that, you type plot, enter. You just continue to plot a single sheet. Then we will use now the drawing to PDF. Okay, paper size is still 8.5 by 13 inches. Now we'll have your window. Okay, so just click on the extent of this drawing, center the plot. Let's try to preview it. So we have your drawing. Okay, you close the preview, you click on this button. Let's plot the other line weights, paper space, objects, stamp. We're now ready to plot this. So you click on all of these things. Right click OK. We'll have your CAD plate template. Save it on the folder that you want to place it, so you can easily find that one. Save. So where is it? Where did I place that one? Here. AutoCAD plot. Okay, you write this, you need to have this here whenever you submit, but you can remove that by doing the plot again, and clicking on unclicking the plot stamp on. Right, okay. Plot 2. Let's just wait for a while. Okay, there. You have removed your stamp on. But for your submissions, whenever you have your classes, you place the timestamp. Why is there... Alright, so that would be for your template creation. Thank you for watching.